Welcome to another episode of Traveling Through Wine. Today we are going to the Mount Etna region of Sicily. For today's video, I am actually on location. I am here on Mount Etna, Europe's largest active volcano, and I would say it is very active. In the 2 years that I have been here in Sicily, I would say that it probably averages a pretty big eruption every other week. And there was a stretch earlier in this year where it was going off every day, pretty big eruptions. And people see the eruptions of Mount Etna and they say, oh, isn't it dangerous? Because they see the lava flow and all that. But it actually, it's at the top and it stays at the top. So I think most people say that it's actually safe. It stays at the top. Right here where I am, we're actually only halfway about up the mountain. And where the vineyards are for the wine, that's actually even lower than where I'm at right now. So the grapes, they're not growing at the very top where the lava is, because some people say, well, how are the grapes growing if there's lava? So it's actually not at the top. They're more towards the base, lower part of the mountain. So there's a lot of history associated with the Mount Etna wine growing region, really a lot of history associated with Sicily. The Greeks were here back in the BC times, the 700, 800 BC times. The Greeks colonized here, and that's really when we start to see wine production really kind of take off. And to me, that's so interesting that all the way back in the BC times, the Greeks were here doing wine, and now I'm here today. We were both drinking wine. I'm here today drinking wines just like the Greeks did back in the 800 BCs. But what really makes the Mount Etna region so unique, of course, is this volcano. The volcano, it creates these weather conditions, the terroir. The terroir is kind of anything, all the other factors, the variables, the weather, the soil, the sun exposure, what side of the mountain you're on, all those kind of factors, that's what terroir is, and it's very unique here on Mount Etna. The weather conditions, it's a lot different than the rest of Sicily. So in Sicily, it's very warm, and the resulting grapes are very ripe because it gets so warm. And they're very fruity, they're very powerful. But here on Mount Etna, it's not quite as warm. It's cooler up here, and then especially at nighttime, the temperatures drop a lot more, and that coolness kind of helps the grapes, the wine, retain its acidity, and that helps it make it feel more fresher, lighter, more elegant on your palate. Also, another factor that can affect the wine is, are you on the north side of the mountain? Here, I'm actually on the south side, but that does make a difference whether you're on the north side or you're on the south side. How high in elevation is the vineyard? That would affect the wine as well. So there's some characteristics that are a result of this volcano that make the wines very unique. Behind me, this actually used to be a crater. This blew up a long time ago, so now there's kind of it's flattened out, it's grown over now, but it used to be a crater, so it blew up at one point. The soil that is around here, I don't know if you can see this very well in the camera, maybe I'll try to get a close-up of it later, but this soil is very sandy. It's ash, it's lava, ash, rocks. This is what kind of soil it is, at least on the top layer here. And the soil, it's good for the vines and it's not good. So I know that's kind of confusing, but because this sandy soil on the top is actually not very good, it's going to make the roots of the vines dive deep down in there in search of nutrients, in search of water. And that's a good thing for the vines, is to send the roots deep down. Now, the volcano does, with the eruptions, it kind of does churn up the land, I guess, and so you do get a lot of minerals. And sometimes you'll even see in the wines, it kind of has a mineral characteristic. So for today's wine, I have the Tornatore, the Etna Bianco. 2020, it's made from the Caricante grape. Tornatore comes on the north side of the mountain. So the wine itself, I'd say that's a medium yellow color, maybe a little hint of greenness in there. On the smell, smells pretty lemony. It smells like it's gonna taste like minerals as well. I mentioned that before. Smells like it's gonna taste like that. But I would say the big thing I'm smelling here is kind of lemony. So we'll go ahead and give it a taste. So yeah, lemony, maybe some apples, green apple, because it is pretty tart. And that acid in there, it is a good amount of acidity. I mean, you kind of do associate that with lemons and green apples as well. But there is a mineral characteristic. It's kind of minerally and salty, which is pretty interesting, I think. And a lot of people, they do say that the Mount Etna white wines, they do kind of have a saltiness. I'm not sure if that is from the conditions. I mean, we are close to the ocean, and you do get the ocean breeze, especially on the north side, kind of funnels up on the north side. I don't know if it's from the conditions or if it's from the characteristics of the grape itself that you get that kind of saline characteristic. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to give me a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments if you liked the video, and be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. But for now, cheers.